Nine dumbest 911 calls. 1. The woman who called 911 after getting locked inside her own car. A Florida woman called 911 because she was locked inside her car. Turns out all she needed to do was manually pull up the lock on the door. The unidentified woman was parked at a Walgreens store in Kissimmee. "My car will not start. I'm locked inside my car," the unidentified woman said. "Nothing electrical works. And it's getting very hot in here, and I'm not feeling well." The dispatcher then suggested pulling up the lock. The woman tried it and was successfully able to open the door. 2. The lonely man who called 911 over 27,000 times. John Triplett, a 45-year-old unemployed man, was charged for abusing the 911 emergency line. He made over 27,000 calls to 911. Police says he was a lonely man who would call the dispatchers for company, sometimes hundreds of times a day. He would also make various noises, including grunts and other bodily noises, minimal conversation in a disguised voice, beeps from the touchpad, etc. The prank 911 calls were made from a T-Mobile cell phone, which led to his arrest after police tracked his cell signal. Police said he apologized for the calls. He said he made them because they were free. He faces $1,000 fine and/or 6 months in jail. 3. The woman who called 911 because McDonald's didn't have McNuggets. Angered that her local McDonald's was out of chicken McNuggets, a Florida woman called 911 3 times to report the fast food emergency. Latressa Goodman, 27, called police to complain that a cashier would not give her a refund. When cops responded to the restaurant, Goodman told them, "This is an emergency. If I had known they didn't have McNuggets, I wouldn't have given my money, and now she wants to give me a McDouble, but I don't want one." She was arrested and the police pressed charges for misusing the 911 system. 4. The wife who called 911 to make her husband stop watching porn. A frustrated German housewife called police because her husband would not stop watching porn movies. The 44-year-old woman, from Aachen, dialed the emergency police number and told the dispatcher in a weepy voice there was an emergency. But when officers arrived at the scene, they found her pacing the apartment while her husband, 46, sat in front of the TV watching a blue movie. She was told, however, that there was nothing the police could do in such a case, but referred her to a counselor for help. 5. The 4-year-old boy who called 911 because he couldn't solve a math problem. A 4-year-old kid named Johnny decided to call 911 when he needed help with his math homework. Amazingly, the dispatcher actually helped him. 6. The woman who called 911 over lack of shrimp in fried rice. A woman called 911 to report she didn't get as much shrimp as she wanted in her fried rice at a Fort Worth area restaurant. The angry customer told the dispatcher, "To get a police officer up here, what has to happen?" The customer also said, "He didn't even put extra shrimp in there." The upset customer was gone when an officer arrived the next day. Restaurant workers said the woman had been denied a refund after leaving with her order, returning later to complain. The cook said there was nothing wrong with the meal. 7. The couple who called the police to settle a cold feet row. A woman called the local 911 in China after her boyfriend refused to warm up her cold feet. Police officer Xiao Deng, of Ningbo, received 2 consecutive calls, one from the woman complaining her boyfriend refused to warm her feet, the other from the man saying his girlfriend was too demanding. Deng went out to the rental apartment, close to Ningbo University, to try to resolve the issue but found the couple still rowing. He eventually persuaded the boyfriend that it was a man's job to warm his girlfriend's feet but told the woman not to leave her feet there for too long. The young couple put aside their differences and thanked him for coming out to solve their problem. 8. The man who called 911 because he was turned away at a nightclub. A man in Beaverton, Oregon called 911 when a nightclub refused to let him inside. Employees at the Caribe nightclub in Beaverton said they didn't let Edgar Dieguez Lopez inside because he was too intoxicated. Dieguez Lopez then called 911 and complained to dispatchers that he was denied entry. Dispatchers explained through a translator that the club has a right to refuse service and asked him to wait outside for the police. Officers responded to the club and found cocaine inside one of Dieguez Lopez's socks. He was arrested on drug charges. 9. The man who was chased by cops and called 911 to try to fool them. A Sarasota man about to be pulled over by police tried to lure officers away by making a fake 911 call. Officers were following a 28-year-old man's car to make a traffic stop when they got a 911 call for an armed robbery happening several blocks away. The man's plan seemed to work at first when the officers cut off their chase to answer the call. But then other officers in the area followed him into a parking lot and saw a gun in his car. Officers determined that the man was a felon and not allowed to possess a firearm. After the man was arrested, officers said they discovered that the bogus 911 call came from his cell phone. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more upcoming videos.